Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Samuel and today we are going to be learning how to make this awesome Apex Legends effect I made for the game. I actually love the game Apex Legends, so I was just thinking what should I do for the video. I was like, yeah, let's just make a game animation effect for Apex Legends. So before I talk too much, let's get into the video. So first of all, you open up After Effects, you create a new composition that is 1920 by 1080, 24 frames per second and 10 seconds. So first thing you're going to do is import your PNGs. So I'll put a link where you can download all the PNGs I use for this file in my video description. Be sure to check it out. And if this video actually was a help to you, remember, like, share and subscribe. So I carry my logos PNG and I take it into After Effects. The first thing I want to do when I'm in After Effects is I want to scale it down. So I'm going to reduce the size either by clicking S on my keyboard and dragging it down, or just going to the edges of my logo and dragging it down while holding Shift. And the first thing I want to do is I want to change the color. So I press Ctrl Space to bring up my Effects Control tab. Now this is a plugin from Video Copilot. I actually love their stuff and I'm going to be using two of their plugins today in my tutorial, but you can do without the Effects Controller. It's just something that saves time for me. Instead of me going to the Effects and Presets tab and clicking Fill, I can just press Ctrl Space and type in my fill and it automatically apply it for me. So that's out of the way. Let's continue to the video. Now, when I apply the fill effect, I change the color to white because I want it to be white. So when I've scaled it down, I come over to layer, scroll down to auto trace and click on auto trace. What this one is going to help me do now is it's going to help me convert my PNG into a layer mask, and that is why I use auto trace, because the second effect I'm going to next effect I'm going to use Saber. It only works on text layer and layer mask. It doesn't work on PNGs or JPEGs, so I have to convert anything I'm working on into a layer mask. Now when I click on auto trace and it has finished tracing the effect for me, I want to pre-compose the top layer. So I click pre-compose, move our attributes to a new composition. Okay, now what I'm going to do again is I'm going to auto trace this layer. Now the reason why I'm auto tracing again is because if I cannot apply it directly on this one now, on this layer, because it's not going to highlight a mask. Remember, I moved all the attributes into a second layer under, so it's not going to select. So I'm going to auto trace the layer again, same way I did the first time. Now I hide the two bottom layers so I can leave only the auto trace layer on top. Now I open my effects console, I type in Saber, and I apply Saber to that effect. So first it's going to show me this black screen that has a line inside down the middle. So that is perfectly normal. You're just going to do some tweaking. So you come over to the effects controller, go to customize core. Now open up customize core, change the core type to layer mask, and it's going to automatically change, so the edges of your layer masks are going to be highlighted. Now to handle, because it's too bright right now, I reduce the glow spread a little bit. I reduce also the glow intensity from 50 to around 11. Okay, I like 11. Now let's check it out. Let's see what it's going to look like. So this is perfect and I like this already. This looks awesome. So what I'm going to do next is I want to make that flickering effect. You can do this with Saber, like with the plugin. You can see flicker under the customized core, but let's just make this a little bit easy for ourselves. So what I'm going to do is I am going to mess with the opacity. As I mess with the opacity, I'm going to use an expression. And I know when you hear expression, it sounds so difficult, but this one is very easy expression that anybody can do. You need minimal knowledge. to do the expression. So you open up your auto trace layer, or you click T to bring out opacity, the opacity effect for the first layer. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hold down Alt and click on the stopwatch icon. So it's going to open this effect for me. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go in and type in wiggle. As I'm typing in wiggle, it's going to be showing me some options. So just click on enter. Then I'm going to put 20, comma, space, then 30. Now you have written a perfectly good expression. So good job. So now let's play it back. And you can see the flicker already. I really like this. I really like this flickering effect. So now the next thing we're gonna do is that we are going to add some keyframes. So I like the flickering effect, but I want some places to be bright. I want to be able to physically control the brightest parts and the darkest parts. So I'm going to create some keyframes. So I come to about 3.5 seconds. I create a keyframe, increase the opacity to 100. So you just create keyframes round, then we're going to assign values to them now. So go to the third keyframe, change the opacity to 100. Leave the fourth keyframe at 0. Let's bring it back a little bit. Now go to 3 seconds on the dot. Then drag the final keyframe that's at 100 down to the 3 seconds. So that is looking cool. So I want to select everything. Click F9 for easy ease. Now let's play it back again. This is looking awesome. Looking so freaking cool. Now, if you guys have learned anything so far in this video, please, I will appreciate it if you subscribe, like, share, comment if you have lost in anywhere, and I'll be sure to answer you in the comment section. The comment section to answer any questions that you have. So let's continue with the video. Now, what I want to do is I want to have like perfect control of the expression. So what I want to do is I want to assign a slider to both values for the wiggle. The 20 and 30 should have its own value, so that I can make it stop wiggling or stop vibrating when I want it to stop vibrating. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to open up my effects controller again. You can do the same thing by going to the effects and preset tab. So I type in slide controller and apply it. Now I'm going to duplicate the slide controller. So the slide controller 1 and slide controller 2. Next thing I'm going to do again is I'm going to open my expression in my opacity. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to open up my expression. Now I'm going to highlight the first expression, that is 20. Now I use the pick whip tool, this swirly thing that looks like Naruto's Uzumaki clan. Sorry, I'm an anime nerd. And pick whip it to the slider 1. Now when that is done, I go to the second one and pick whip it to the slider 2. And now we have multiple controls for our wiggle. So now I'm going to go to the beginning of the timeline. Now make 2 keyframes for slider 1 and slider 2. Move 2 frames into the timeline. Now increase it to 100 for both sliders. Increase both sliders to 100. Now move towards the end of where your keyframe is going to be. Make extra keyframes at 100 each. Then move to the end of your animation. Then set the value to 0. So let's pre-compose the layer. Remember to click on Move All Attributes to New Composition. Click OK, and voila. Now, next thing we're going to do is we are going to import our logo, our main logo. So I go to my File Explorer, I find my logo, I click, I drag, I drop it into my timeline. So now I import it. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add a fill because the logo is black and the background is black. So I add my fill as usual, make it white, scale it down. Now I zoom into the composition so I can align my logo I brought in now with the logo that was already there before, so I can expand it when it's expanding and reduce it when it's reducing, so I can fit perfectly. So when you finally get the logo to fit something like this, let's start working on our keyframes. Now move to about 3.5 seconds. Click on T to open up the opacity effect. Now I make my effect. I drag the opacity down to 0. I move to about 4.5 seconds and bring my opacity back up to 100. So I make a keyframe at the beginning of where my transition for the top layer starts. I leave it at 100. I move to the end transition and change the opacity down to 0. So we can't see it anymore. Goodbye. So now it gives us this kind of fading effect from shining down to not shiny. So let's play it back and let's see how it looks. Now this is looking pretty awesome. So the final thing is to bring our text. I did not actually look for the text that they use for Apex Legends. I just downloaded the PNG of how it's written online. So same thing again, we are going to import it into After Effects. I change the fill again to white. Now let's scale it down. That's too much. Okay. Now let's work on the movement effect of the logo. So I come to where I want it to start from around 5 seconds. I make a keyframe of the position. I move down to around 5.5 seconds and I adjust it accordingly. So somewhere like that, I think this is okay. Let's just make some few tweaks. And Bob's your uncle. Then I highlight the 2 keyframes, select F9 for easy ease. Now finally what I want to do is I want it to fade from the back to the front. So after it moves, the Apex Legends just fades into it. So same thing, go to my opacity. After the motion, make a keyframe, turn the opacity down to 0. Go to about a second later and put the opacity at 100. And this is looking perfect. Let's play through it again. And this is looking perfect. Okay, so finally let's trim down any excesses. So now finally you highlight everything from beginning layer to the end layer, highlight everything and pre-compose it. So what I want is that I want it to zoom in, like to be close to the logo, and just zoom out slowly. Now go to the end of the effect around 7 seconds, open up your scale properties, make a keyframe. Now go to the beginning of the effect. Now increase it to about 240 or so, 237. So that's enough. Now select the two of them, F9 to easy ease, and let's play it back. Okay, I think just meant something little, so I want it to be at the final position first before the apex legend starts fading from the back. So I move the keyframe somewhere around 3.5 seconds. Then I move the final, I make a final keyframe and increase it to 110 around 7 seconds. So it gives it some little bit more motion. So let's play it one more time. So that's how you do the effect, guys. It's really easy and really simple. If you had any issues, comment down in the comment section. I'll be sure to help you with any issue you have. If this video has helped you in any way, please subscribe, and I'll catch you in my next video. Peace.